In this episode,
Martin, today we're going to talk about what's going on in this very moment with COVID-19, the real estate market, and
Right.
what your team's doing.
I can tell you, just in the last couple of days, there were a lot of people that were ready to list, and all of a sudden, well, we're just going to sit this out. And as realtors, as professionals, I think that's part of our job to give them information so that they can make decisions based on actual facts versus based on fear. They're going to make it. There's two types of realtors right now, and if we look, 90 days, 120 days down the road, there's going to be those realtors that are having a gangbuster business because they stuck to the daily activities and that they had to do. And there's those who just sort of go, wow, what happened today, right? Every morning as a real estate agent, you wake up unemployed, right? And so what are you gonna do today? Because you're not guaranteed a paycheck, right? So I think we're gonna end up at 95 million this year. So it'll probably be our
That's amazing. That's
second best year ever.
And what I want people to really understand is that all you're doing is you're getting in the right mindset, you're making the most out of your morning, and you're doing the activities that lead
Right.
to results. It's
Yeah.
very, very simple. And the reality is with this many transactions happening right now, there's so much market share to be gained if you are not the one that slinks back and recedes into
Right.
non-action.
Yeah.
I will tell you, it is shocking the amount of realtors I spoke to from other brokerages this last summer and late spring that told me, well, we can't sell real estate. So, okay, welcome back, everyone. We are here with another episode of our weekly update with Martin Bauma. And Martin, today we're going to talk about what's going on in this very moment with COVID-19, the real estate market, and
Right.
what your team's doing. So, how are you guys? How are you guys positioning yourself given the recent order from the governor?
Yeah. I think the number one thing is the initial thought is always going to panic, right? Panic mode, I'm not going to be able to sell another house. This was really definitely the case back in the springtime. And I think the most important thing is that we just really stay focused on the daily activities that we have to do. And so I think as realtors, there's a lot of confusion, right? There's all these different people have different perceptions of what the rules are, what the laws are, and stuff like that. And I think as realtors, we have to really know what the situation is. And just we need to develop just one or two messages and then stick to those messages and share those with our clients because they're really coming to us trying to figure out what they want to do. Like I can tell you, just in the last couple of days, there were a lot of people that were ready to list, and all of a sudden, well, we're just going to sit this out. We're not going to, and just really listening to them, right, and letting them know, wait a second, the inventory is low, the rates are low, people still have to buy and sell, so don't let the fear overcome their decisions, right? And as realtors, as professionals, I think that's part of our job to give them information so that they can make decisions based on actual facts versus based on fear, and we see that sort of happening a lot right now. And there's a real need for actionable items right now. And I think that if agents stay focused on what they need to be doing every single day, they're going to make it. There's two types of realtors right now. And if we look, 90 days, 120 days down the road, there's going to be those realtors that are having a gangbuster business because they stuck to the daily activities and that they had to do. And there's those who just sort of go, wow, what happened, right? Because I can tell you from experience, I just know this, that once Thanksgiving hits, probably half the realtors sort of take a holiday. And with the COVID-19 crisis on top of this, I can assure you that's probably going to be even higher. And I also can pretty much tell you that this is going to be more than 3 weeks. The governor said that, it's a 3-week period. By the legislature, that's the most she can do, right? I can assure you that there's going to be another 3 weeks, probably another 3 weeks, and at least till through the holidays and until those COVID-19 cases come down. So I doubt this will be a 3-week situation. I'm prepared for probably about a 2-month situation. I think we all have to be prepared for that. And so I think the most important thing as we go through this, we really have to watch our thoughts and our thinking and turn off the news. I'm a real news junkie, and I used to watch the news in the morning while I was getting ready. It would get me all riled up and that. And so now what I'm doing is I'm listening to podcasts or webinars in the morning while I'm getting ready. And so I'm just really focusing on filling my mind with positive thoughts because I think when you get all jacked up like that, it makes it hard to have a productive day. You really want to own the morning of the day. I mean, and this goes back to just normal real estate, just business success, right? Get up in the morning. I start my morning with exercise. Come into the office, I sort of plan the day before and after our huddle. And on that morning, that's when you prospect, that's when you make your phone calls, your follow-up calls, things like that, and don't let anyone interrupt that. It's hard to do that, but I think when you do actually take the real intention to control your morning, you're going to really find how much you accomplished. Set goals every single day. What do you want to accomplish today? Every morning as a real estate agent, you wake up unemployed, right? And so what are you gonna do today? Because you're not guaranteed a paycheck, right? So you start every single morning. I'm unemployed. What am I gonna do today to make sure I have work, right? Set those goals and improve your skill set constantly. One of the things is when you go through situations like this, I think a lot of us, especially when all of a sudden the rug gets pulled from underneath us, the scripts and language and things that we used yesterday don't work as well today. And so it's definitely learn your scripts. And I tell people, it's amazing when, if you're in the theater, you have to learn your lines, right, before you go out on stage. Well, realtors, it's amazing. We go on stage all the time. We don't know our lines. And then we wonder why we're not that successful. And so, and I always tell people, I says, you don't have to memorize everything word for word, but I look at every situation as you sort of have these building blocks, of scripts that you have to literally memorize and internalize. And you can go off course a little bit here and there, whatever, but you want to have those basic scripts memorized so that you know where to go and you're not thinking about the next thing to say. And a lot of realtors have a hard time comprehending that.
I want to talk about scripts really quick because I think for people who are not used to practicing scripts and using them in their business, it's almost like a dirty word. It almost screams being inauthentic or nothing but a salesperson. But the reality is scripts are preparation. It's
Yes.
the same thing.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's the same thing as if you were a therapist. You wouldn't go into an appointment with your patient, your client, ill prepared to handle their personal problems. When you are going and meeting with buyers and sellers and there's a market of the moment that is bringing a lot of doubt and concerns and questions, if you go into that best, prepared to actually give them the information they want and help them feel like they can buy and sell safely, then you are going in ill prepared. That's all a script is. It brings the objections right up to the surface and allows you to handle them and guide your clients with care.
Absolutely. A lot of us just knowing the questions to ask, right? And so I know when I was newer that I'd be in an appointment, I was barely listening. You say, oh my God, they're going down that path. What do I say? What do I say? You know what I'm saying? Where if those building blocks are ingrained inside of you, you can navigate through that very comfortably. And our goal is to help our clients self-discover what's necessary for them to accomplish their goals, right? And it is amazing. A lot of people think, oh, that's so salesmanship and all that. Well, we are salespeople, number one. A salesperson's job is to help our clients find what they need, right? And help them accomplish their goal. And but that's a very important thing. Learning scripts, really improve them. So you're never in a situation where you go, oh, have you ever been in a situation where you left and you go, gosh, I really, you just don't 100% know what happened, right? And the reason that happened is because you didn't ask enough questions to find out what happened. And that's where your scripts come in, and they're very, very powerful. And like I said, you can go off track, but you know to come back.
I have a question for you because I feel like my current ceiling is helping people self-discover. I've got the objection handlers, I've got the scripts, but that's a new skill for me that I'm sharpening is instead of telling them, help them self-discover. Do you have any tips for me? Like, how did you learn and sharpen that skill?
Well, I would learn just because, probably one of the best ways to learn is I lost a listing. And I always will call, or usually I'll email, because people tend to be nicer on the phone and not tell you the real reason. And in the email, I'll just say, hey, thank you so much for meeting with me. I said, could you please tell me why you chose, what could I have done to earn your business? And what did I miss out on? I forget the exact email, how it's worded. Will you please let me know? Believe me, you will not hurt my feelings. And I let them know that. So be honest. And that's where I would find, wow, this person said he do this, and this person, I thought, gosh, I need to ask more questions, or I need to pull things out more so that I could have discovered that. And so I now know one of the questions I ask in listening appointments is there anything that another agent said they do that I haven't discussed, right? Because I don't get into every minutia of everything I do, but if you have an agent who suddenly said they do this, they do this, they do this, they do this, right? That seller is thinking, wow, Martin doesn't do all that, right? And so it's just a learning process. Always try to find out why you lost a listing or why a buyer didn't work with you, and have the guts to ask them, right? And a lot of times they'll tell you.
It's so funny, Martin, because it makes me go back, and it's everything that leads to success often is so simple that it stands the test of time, right?
Right.
It makes me think back to the one video, that Keller Williams put out years ago where, what would make this a 10 experience for you? What would make this a 10 plus experience for you? And it's the silliest thing, but the reality is you find out immediately what is important to that client, and it may not be what you had assumed.
Yeah.
All right.
So I think it really comes down to the art of questions.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. I think that that if you can ask more questions and listen more than speak to people, you find out so much more about what their motivation is.
And even with me, I mean, to be honest, a lot of time my brand is very powerful, so I can get away with a lot of things that other people can't. But every once in a while, I'll lose a string of listings, and my coach will say, "Martin, you've gotten arrogant," meaning that I'm just walking, assuming I got it, and I drop the ball on certain things, right? I have to sort of like sharpen my skills and say, "Martin, don't do that," right? And so, yeah, you live and learn.
Well, so let's go back to what you were talking about with your team and how to be successful in this moment in time. A lot of what you were talking about, you did talk about the activities, but a lot of what you were talking about starts with mindset, right?
Absolutely.
And so I just want to bring folks back to that because we did see this in the spring, and in the spring we were actually ill prepared as a nation and as an industry. We didn't know what was going to happen. Now at least we know. We are essential workers. We can still sell houses. We have some restrictions, but we're not in the dark. And so what I really encourage folks to do is do your checkup from the neck up. Okay, check your mindset. Do what you need to do to stay mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically at your pinnacle. Yeah. And carpe diem, right? Because you have the best. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is this your best year, or was it your best quarter, your best July? Tell us.
October was my best October in 34 years. November was my best November in 34 years. September, October, November, each were the best of that month in my entire career. So I think this is my best fourth quarter in my entire career. And we did beat last year, but there's one year we did over 100 million. And so I think we're going to end up at 95 million this year. So it'll probably be our second best year ever.
And what I want people to really understand is that all you're doing is you're getting in the right mindset, you're making the most out of your morning, and you're doing the activities that lead to results. It's very, very simple. And the reality is, with this many transactions happening right now, there's so much market share to be gained if you are not the one that slinks back and recedes into non-action.
If you look at any crisis, you look how the business goes down, the number of agents that drop out is usually more than what the business goes down, right? So there is more business for the people that remain and that work. But that's the other thing too, is you got to be, this is a time where you really have to be committed, not interested. And the difference is, interested means you'll do it if you feel like it, and committed says you're going to do it no matter what, right? And I think it's really, really important to remember right now, when a lot of clients are sitting this out, and the most important thing, you guys, and I can't stress this enough, is stay in touch with them. Stay in touch with them, because right now, I can absolutely tell you, each one of them is probably communicating with 3 or 4 realtors. And it's the one that just stays in front of them. And, every morning, just sort of look at it. Like I always look at the hot sheets every morning, right? I think that's something every realtor should do. I take 15 minutes to really analyze and go, I'm going to call that person. I know that house just went under contract. That type of stuff. Just pick up the phone. It's a 5-minute, even though they're not going to do something to the spring. You just call them up. You have your warm list, right? And you keep that warm list, and you really stay focused on that warm list. That can be up to 50 people, 60 people. And I don't know, I have a really good memory, so I can pull that. I don't think it takes a lot of memory. I think it just takes a lot of doing the work. But doing that hot sheet and calling those people and staying in touch, that's going to make sure that when they do something, no one gets between you and that client.
Absolutely. And I will tell you, it is shocking the amount of realtors I spoke to from other brokerages this last summer and late spring that told me, well, we can't sell real estate. So, and I just went, huh?
My mindset, no matter what happens, people always have to move. Even if the values drop 25%, 30%, 40%, like they did 10 years ago, sales still have to happen. They might not be happy sales because the sellers are having to, right? Sales always happen, whether people get transferred, whether they lose their job, whatever. You just want to make sure that you're the realtor that's between those transactions, right? And you have to quickly adjust and change your skill set to deal with the different situations, right? And then the other real important thing, you guys, is plan your week on Sunday night. And just really, it's amazing when I sit down with, Mary Jo will sit down with some of our salespeople, is blank. They said, like, no, you start filling it up. Now, if you don't have appointments here, why don't you preview properties, or why don't you do this, or what, you know what I'm saying? So really plan your week so you know what you're doing, or you're coming in intentionally. We've got to be intentional through this time, and it makes a big difference.
100%. All right. Well, we wish you and your team and anyone watching this, we wish that you are safe and healthy and productive through this new fourth quarter slight shutdown that we have. Great thing is real estate is not shut down. So go out there, love on your people, and be ready to assist when possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Excellent.
Thanks, Martin. Have a great
day.